In the last video, we had discussed about various facets of drug discovery program. Let us continue the discussion with the challenges what we will face during drug discovery process. As a drug discovery process, it's a lengthier process in terms of time as well as the money, huge investment of money for a longer period of time we can observe during drug discovery process. So many times what the drug initially started for its screening may fail to show its desirable response. So thereby whatever the funding have been invested on the molecule may become loss for a company. In spite of this many complication, if a molecule got succeeded and it have been reached the market, even there are also lot of challenges a molecule may face. So now let us try to understand what are the challenges a drug may face in its journey. So now once a drug got introduced into the market, oftenly the drugs will be having patents, but the looming of patents commonly can be observed because a patent period hardly it will be for 20 years once it got expired. So then the marketed molecule may be available in the form of generic, because 2007 onwards the regulations have been given more preference towards the generic medications, such that what the company have invested for a new molecule, in a shorter time it should get reback with the amount what it have invested. But expiring of the patents, it's becoming a biggest challenge for the investment. Because of this, many companies as well as the funding agencies, so they are not so much interested to invest money on research findings as well as other aspects of new drug discovery. Then other complications or challenges what we can observe, that is the availability of the good medicines in the market. The newer drug should compete or it should have better efficacy and potency than the existing drugs. Then coming with the pricing aspects, so many of the countries, the pricing aspects, they have a proper channel, like a standard bar will be fixed by the concerned authority for pricing a drug. Many times, so the expectation of the industry may not be reached with the pricing because looming of patents can also be observed. Even this pricing will depend on various factors like rise of emerging market, or it may be the aging demographics, then better disease detection which is available due to the advancement of the technology. And once the drug is available in the market, resistance with various aspects can be observed. Its emergence of new diseases can be observed, or resistance with some diabetes or any other infections can also be observed, which is also a factor which regulates the pricing aspects. It becomes a challenge for a researchers to fund the new drug development process. So let us see about the various approaches of a new drug discovery. So in the syllabus concerned, so it have been mentioned to cover pharmacological aspects or approaches in drug discovery, toxicological approaches, IND application, drug characterization, dosage form. So these approaches should be covered under drug discovery process. Step 1 and 2, which constitutes the preclinical studies, like pharmacological and toxicological approaches of drug discovery. Let us see in general the drug development in the preclinical phases. As you are aware that the drug development, which is consisting of two phases, the preclinical studies followed by clinical studies. Let us try to understand preclinical studies, as you people are aware about preclinical phase of studies, where the experiments will be carried by using laboratory animals in order to check its efficacy, then safetiness and possible dose for human administration can be assessed by the preclinical phase. So now it is having certain objectives to discover and develop patentable drug candidates on targets of relevance. Then other objectives like generate data that gives reasonable estimation of clinical efficacy and safetiness. And the other object, provide enough evidence to obtain regulatory approval for first in human testing. Once a drug passes preclinical studies, so it may be suitable for testing in the human being. But for testing in the human being, it requires to have enough document support which will be get established by the preclinical studies. Now the generated data which can give some reasonable information about clinical efficacy and safety, and also it can provide various evidences such that it can be approved by the regulatory bodies. So then only it can be given permission for clinical studies with the human being. So let us try to understand the preclinical trial. Let us see what is this preclinical trial. Preclinical trial is a laboratory test of a new drug or a new medical device, usually done on animal subjects to see if the hoped for treatment really works and if it is safe to test on the human being. This is about the definition of preclinical trials. If you see about the drug development process, which involves two phases, preclinical phase and clinical phase. Then coming with the preclinical phases, the first aspect, that is the lead generation, then followed by lead optimization. So then the preclinical development it's going to start. Once it have collected sufficient documents under preclinical studies, so then after observing the evidences, then the regulatory bodies can register for the approval. So then the clinical phase, phase 1 studies may start. So when coming with the drug discovery process, which involves discovery of the new drug, that is the lead generation to the optimization, and especially development can be observed in the optimization period. So then after preclinical studies, regulatory IND approval can be got to a drug such that phase 1 clinical studies can be permitted for the drug. So now as per the syllabus concerned, we should see in detail about the pharmacological approaches to the drug discovery. So before entering into the approaches, in broader sense, let us try to understand the definition of pharmacology. So coming with the definition, pharmacology as an academic principle can be loosely defined as a study of effects of chemical substances on living system. So now the study of chemical substance on living system may be the pharmacology, but broader sense if you see, it includes all aspects of drug discovery, which may range from the interaction of the drug between molecule and the target, and it may continue to the consequences of placing the drug in the market. So these pharmacological aspects can also be studied in the phase 4 clinical studies. In the market, what are the consequences we can observe, rare side effects, these and all can be studied up. So now here two aspects are very much important here, that is the interaction of a molecule and the target. As the molecule is a newer one and the target will be early identified because they are the macromolecule, either it may be receptor or it may be enzyme or some proteins which are present in the body, how they interact and what is the effect of interaction will be studied. This interaction effects, it may be wanted or unwanted. These are therapeutical effect it can show or side effect. So that will be studied under pharmacology. Now coming with the components of pharmacological evaluation. As to get success in the pharmacological screening, so these are the standards we should apply, which include selectivity testing, pharmacological profiling, followed by testing in animal models of diseases, and safety pharmacology. These are the various components of pharmacological evaluation. Let me start with selectivity testing. So this selectivity testing, which involves two main stages: screening for selectivity and binding assays. Now coming with the selective word, it represents about the molecule and its target site. Now let us see what is the screening for selectivity. The selectivity of a compound for a chosen molecule target need to be assessed because it determines the potency of a drug. So now molecular targets are present in the body. They are the macromolecules. So our drug molecule, they are going to target such agents. Highly selective they will be in order to show the response. So now a selected compound may bind to the molecular targets that may be related or unrelated, because molecular targets sometimes it will be fixed in order to show the desirable response. Sometimes the drug may bound to some other targets which is non-intended, but they will start showing the unwanted side effect in a person. But with the slide we can carry the information that molecular targets plays a major role in selectivity of the drug. Now we are checking about the selectivity, how our drug bonds to the molecular targets. Then also we can perform various bioassays, because now already molecule have identified the target after binding. So now we will be checking about the binding of a molecule. In order to check the dissociation constant, certain binding bioassays will be performed of a test compound. If you are calculating this dissociation constant, such that you will be getting the affinity of a molecule towards the receptor, like how much they are having affinity to the receptors. So these type of assays usually performed by using various membrane preparation. These membrane preparations are made by using some intact tissue preparations, or sometimes we will be producing some cell lines which can express the receptor. They are called as receptor expressing cell lines can be used, and we can check about the dissociation constant in order to check the affinity of the receptor. But in most of the cases, the assay measures the ability of the test compound to inhibit the binding of high affinity radioligand, sometimes which combines with the receptor is a question. So many times antagonist what we are using, so such that they may inhibit the binding of a molecules. Agonist molecules are a radioligand substances in order to show the desirable responses. Now coming with this pharmacological profiling, this pharmacological profiling determines the pharmacodynamic effect of a new compounds. So now here, by using in vitro models, by using various cell lines or isolated tissues, we will be identifying the pharmacodynamic aspects, and even in vivo models by using normal animals or animal model of disease can be used in order to get the activity. So now let us say about the aims of pharmacological profiling. As we are known about the pharmacological profiling means getting an evidence of pharmacodynamic responses, because the studies usually is to be started with some cell or some cell lines where the molecular as well as the cellular effects you are going to measure by using various screening assays. So while screening it, like we will be having lot of prediction towards the pharmacological effect. Here only the cellular substances are used. So while extending these studies in intact tissue or whole animals, whether the same predictable pharmacological effect have shown or not. So that will be the first aim of the pharmacological studies. Does the molecule and the cellular effect measured in the screening assay actually give rise to the predicted pharmacological effects in intact tissue and whole animals? Then the second question arises due to, so many times the drug molecule may bond with the target molecules which may not be a intended one. If it is intended one, so desired therapeutic response it can show, but unintended it will show some side effects. The second question goes like this: does the compound produce effect in intact tissues or whole animals not associated with the action on its principal molecular target? If it is acting on non-principal molecular target, side effects can be observed. And other question relies on the potency of the drug in various levels, in the molecular levels by using a single cell studies, or tissue level, group of cells, or whole animal level, whether the potency is same or not. Is there a correspondence between potency of the drug at molecular level, tissue level and the whole animal level? Then the next, it will be related to the duration. Do in vivo duration of action match up with the pharmacokinetic properties of the drug? Because the duration entirely depends on the ADME parameters. So then coming with the duration of treatment. So what happens if the drug is continuously or repeatedly given to an animal over a course time of days or weeks? Because as the drug is new, there may be a chance like some drugs may lose its effectiveness for a long time. Some it can reveal effects which is not seen during the acute administration, like adverse events may start, adverse effects. So then whether anytime rebound effect is observed when the drug have been stopped. So these are the questions which will be faced as a aim for the profiling. Now let us see about in vitro profiling. So this in vitro profiling involves the studies on some isolated tissues. These in vitro studies are conducted in the laboratory, so by using some isolated tissue preparation by maintaining the in vivo conditions. So this technique is very easier, versatile, and it can be applicable to studies which involve smooth muscle as well as some cardiac muscle, striated muscles, secretory epithelia, endocrine glands, brain slice and liver slice. So many times the tissues will be obtained from the freshly sacrificed animals, or also sometimes anesthetized animals. A small portion of the tissue will be taken and it will be subjected for the study by applying various conditions, like it will be get suspended in warmed oxygenated physiological fluid in order to maintain the vitality. It's having certain advantages, in vitro profiling. The concentration effect response can be accurately measured because there won't be any influence of the other organ system in the body, and that exactly the concentration effect relationship can be obtained. The design of the experiments are highly flexible and allow the measurement of onset and recovery of the drug effects. Also measurement of synergism as well as the antagonism of a compound can be done by using this technique. So in the next video I will be uploading about the in vitro profiling of, in vivo profiling of the